Okay. Okay. Welcome.
Oh, we got people in here. Welcome, everyone. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Where's everybody coming in from? I'm in Durham, North Carolina. It was super rainy, but today it looked like rain never happened.
It's
So I'm
raining
happy
here.
about that.
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's been raining all day long. So maybe you sent us your rain.
I think it did because it did travel from like down south and then is traveling north there. So glad that it's with you and not with me. I mean, hate it for you, love it for me.
Look at my head.
We got
Hey,
Billy in the
everyone.
house. We got Billy in the house.
Hey,
My brother lives in
welcome.
Philly. Hello, Philly. Hey, y'all. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. We got Toronto. I see Toronto out here. Where's everybody else coming in from? We'll give it probably about like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
just let other people kind of trickle in before we start.
Yes, Philly.
But
hey, Toronto. I was just in both of those cities in the last 2 months. So hey, girl, hey.
Yeah, you've been moving. You've been traveling.
Yeah. Still jet lagged a little bit. I'm excited. I'm so glad that you guys had the time to jump on. We're super excited to share this opportunity with you guys and talk more about it. So.
And then if you all see me drinking my tea, just remember I'm human. We got to drink our tea out here. So
no one will vilify you for drinking the tea.
Thank you. I just got this like new chai, like this masala chai from this Indian market that I went to yesterday, and I'm obsessed. This is like my 3rd cup, and I got it yesterday. Yeah.
Well, don't spill the tea while we spill the tea on this.
I'm about to spill the tea on some tea. No, I'm kidding.
Oops.
I'm kidding. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. 12:03. I think we could be good to go. Fun fact about this little presentation that we're looking at right now, created with AI. Created, just full transparency, created with Claude and some Perplexity. Maybe throughout the year, we'll talk a little bit more about like how to utilize these kind of technologies for your own presentations. Especially if you do decide, and we hope you do decide, to sign up for this hackathon that we'll be talking about today. It will be a really cool and easy and fun way to kind of streamline that process. So fun little fact there. But hey, everyone, if you're not familiar with me, you probably see my name in all of the emails and correspondences that you've gotten, but welcome to our WCHL World Computer Hacker League 2025 info session. I'm Jarlise Calix, co-founder of CreateHERFest. I'm here with my incredible co-founder, Adrienne, and we're really excited to share this opportunity with you all. Just brief intro about myself. Like I said, co-founder of CreateHERFest, software engineer, serial hobbyist, can't stick to one thing. So if you're familiar with me, if you follow me, if you've seen me anywhere, you're like, hey, she probably cooks a lot and she travels a lot and she plays a lot of video games and she is always just doing a lot of things. So that's a little bit about me. I'll let Adrienne introduce herself and we'll kind of get into it.
Yeah. So Adrienne Guy, computer engineer, weirdly traditional, but actually non-traditional background. I don't know how to sit still either. I don't know if it's the neurospicy. I don't know if it's I get bored easily. I don't know. But yeah, I am probably in a different city, have been in a different city every other week for like the last 6 months, which has been crazy. Honestly, I'm in love with all things technology. Anything that is, really changing lives, changing perspectives, video games, augmented, interactive, immersive technologies, everything. I love security. I'm kind of a little bit of I feel like it's out of terms to use this word, but I'm a bit of a security Nazi. So in a lot of ways, when it comes to like your own personal position and how you give your data and your information to platforms, I'm the first person that's probably going to whack my finger at you, but I'll also help you fix it. So those are just some of the things that I just love to deep dive in. I'm usually going to hyper focus on whatever is in front of me. So if you leave me alone with something too long, I'll probably come back and be the subject matter expert on it. But yeah, that's kind of how it works for me in this industry, because you really never get bored. You gotta love learning. So I'm glad that I can, join in with you guys here.
Awesome. All right. So, quick housekeeping before we dive in. This session is being recorded. So, if you need to step away, if you need to drink your tea like I'm drinking my tea, if you want to reference something later, we've got you covered. The recording will be shared with everyone in our email list, and you'll also be able to just find it on our YouTube, youtube.com/@CreateHERFest. We'll drop links in the chat as we continue talking today. But for questions, like I was just discussing about the chat, you can drop them in the chat at any time, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask live, that works too. We'll have a Q&A section at the end, and yeah, just feel free to ask anything. We'll answer to the best of our ability. I don't want it to feel like, we're like these super experts and you can't ask us anything. I mean, we're learning right along with you. We'll answer to the best of our ability. But also, this is a safe space, so don't feel like you can't ask anything, to be honest. So that's a lot of what I love about this community. And yeah, super glad to be seeing people, pop in the chat about where they're coming in from. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll move on to our next slide. So welcome to CreateHERFest. So what is even CreateHERFest? Some of you have probably participated in our flagship programming earlier this year that started like late 2024 as well. So just wanted to take a moment to remind everyone what CreateHERFest is all about, because understanding our mission helps you understand why we're so excited about this particular partnership. So CreateHERFest is a technical journey aimed at equipping women with the tools, skills, and mentorship they need to excel in the rapidly evolving tech landscape. So every event that we do is designed to build participants' expertise in high demand fields such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, blockchain, augmented, and virtual reality. So in practice, it basically means that we, Adrienne and I, and the entire team at CreateHERFest sees an opportunity like WCHL 2025 as a way to continue and so what we'll learn today, moving on, today's journey together, we'll talk about what we'll kind of go over for the next hour. And here's what we'll cover. So first, we're going to share why WCHL caught our attention as community builders, why we decided to partner with ICP again on this, especially given like everything we've seen in the many tech events that, we've planned, we've been a part of, we've been at. And this one's a bit different, but also similar to what you've seen before from us as well. So we'll break down the 4-month builder journey. So not just the timeline, but what it actually feels like to participate, what the real expectations are. We want to be real with you, what it's going to be like, what kind of support you'll have every step of the way. We'll also explore the 5 tracks you can choose from, because part of what makes this special is how you can align it with your specific interests and your career goals. I'll show you the support network that ensures you're never building alone. So you'll be able to have a support network of engineers, product managers, like people who built this technology, and like those are the best people to talk to when you're building this. And then we'll go into a live registration walkthrough. So I know registration can be a little bit confusing. And so we'll do a screen share of like, what does it look like to even register for an event like this, and all the resources and tools that they have available. And then finally, we'll save time for your questions. And like I said, feel free to literally ask us anything. We'll do our best to answer. And basically our goal by the end of this session, you'll have everything you need to know to make a really confident decision about registering for this event. So that's basically it. That's what we're going to be covering. And yeah, I'll hand it over to Adrienne, and we'll kind of dive on in on like why you should participate. Oh, you're muted.
How about now?
You're good.
Awesome bet. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so let's jump right in here about why there's a lot of value that we're seeing here. So realistically, if you're familiar with our formal programming, we have a hackathon. Has anyone ever done a hackathon in the past before? Has anyone ever? Sorry, we're still in the office. So if anyone ever did a hackathon before, give me a thumbs up, give me, a yes, something in the chat. Let me know if you've ever had experience with hackathons in the past. Amazing. Okay, awesome. So we got some experience in here. So if you're familiar with hackathons, I'm sure that you've seen a lot of hackathons that are like, sometimes they can be very short. Sometimes they give you a weekend. It's often generous if they give you a week, sometimes 2 weeks. And we have done hackathons similar to that in the past, where you're stressing yourself out, you're kind of like ripping and running, to date myself a little bit, and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to get all the things together. You deploy something, you get it into your GitHub repo, and then it just rots there forever. And you kind of just keep rinsing and repeating with that concept. And what we saw the opportunity to try to solve for with our own programming is giving people a little more time to really not only digest the information, to really sink in and be intentional around their problem solving, to be more impact focused around their problem solving, the things that they're building as well, but to also build more genuine relationships, to really get to connect with the people that you're building with, not being so keen on building alone or building solo. And when you have shorter hackathons, that can kind of lean you in that direction as well, because you don't feel like you have time to team build and things like that. And you also don't often feel like you have time that if they ever have workshops, if they ever have facilitators that are teaching you things, to really connect with them, to circle back, to like investigate what they're teaching you, and to lean a little bit deeper into it. And maybe even build a relationship with that individual who is openly accessible to you as well. So the way that we run our hackathons honestly solves for all of that by extending the timeline and keeping everyone involved for, a longer period of time, for them to actually develop and to kind of like continue to evolve in their own journey in itself. And that's what ICP is doing. I feel like they've kind of taken a page out of our book and leaned in that direction to improve the way that they're doing hackathons. So that in itself, you're going to have way more time, to build out your actual concepts, to really team build, to build connections with your peers, with the community itself, and then with their support, with their engineers that build on Motoko and their environment every single day. But if we get past all the mushy gushy fun stuff, there's $300,000 in the line. So we're just gonna pause right there. There's $300,000 in the line. We partnered with ICP earlier this year for our International Women's Day Hackathon, and we were not able to bring in that much money to the table. But the fact that, through their partnerships and through their community, they're able to bring this much value to the table, it's important that we see more women that are able to contribute to this environment and to get some of that value back into themselves. So that's why we're trying to be intentional about making sure that our community knows about this, because one day in the future, in the soon future, we would love to be able to, offer through our own programming this amount of value and these sizes of prizes. But through our partnerships, we can at least create visibility around the opportunity. And we want to make sure that in some way, shape, or form, come hell or hot water, that it's potentially someone from our community that can benefit and reap the benefits of this. So in addition to that, you can expect they're targeting over 15,000 developers that they want to join. This is also a global hackathon similar to ours. And, it's not centering women in the same way that ours does. However, the more women we can bring into the space, the more relationships, the more opportunities, and the more momentum that we can continue to try to keep going. So I think that these are all things that we really want you guys to pay attention to. And to be able to connect with other developers that are attached to their other 18 hubs. So right now we partner with a hub that is based out of the US and Canada, but they have 18 other hubs globally of developers and of interest and of engineers that are going to be participating in this. So it's a really cool opportunity. And we're trying to make sure that we can position you guys for success with this too. So that's kind of what this conversation is about. So when you're looking at the next 4 months, you have the opportunity to build something polished. You have the opportunity to go through your ideation to actual execution process by getting all of the resources that ICP can offer, all of the help, all of the feedback, and to make sure that they really want to see quality impact focused projects come out of this, and they want to be a part of that support system that helps you be successful too. So this is not something that's rigged. They're not going to pick their favorites. They're not going to pick projects that, they have already positioned to win. Now, granted, if you do see some projects in there that seem like people have been building on them for a long time, it's quite possible. And for anyone who participated in our previous hackathon, we encourage you to continue to iterate on the project that you already started and to find new heights or new ways that you can integrate and improve it as well, because that is the name of the game when it comes to these kind of things. There are engineers, there are developers, there are technologists that honestly make a living off of having great ideas and continuing to iterate with them and bringing them to hackathons like this and just sweeping house. So we kind of want to see, some of that, opportunity and some of those, ways to win come out of our community as well.
Awesome.
All right.
So yeah. Let's talk about,
I talked a little bit about the 4-month journey. So I kind of got ahead of us.
No, we did talk about it, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So basically, We'll talk about how this 4-month builder journey is going to work, right? Because 4 months sounds great, but it also kind of sounds a little long. But if you're familiar with CreateHERFest, this is nothing new for you, that it can be long. But what does that really mean day to day? So WCHL 2025 has 4 distinct rounds, and each one builds on the last. So think of it sort of as like leveling up in a game. Each round, you're demonstrating new capabilities, you're iterating a little bit more, you're building upon what you built on the last round. So think of it as like, building like new features. Maybe you're improving your UX, scalability, market validation. It really kind of gives you the time to do that research and to fine tune. Whereas like a 3-day, 4-day hackathon is not going to give you that much time. You're basically doing a hack job of this beautiful idea that you have, and you're trying to push it to life and trying to convince someone that this is great. Just believe in it. If you see the vision, 4 months gives you that opportunity to take your time a little bit, even learn new technology, especially if you're new to this space. You could take that 4 months to learn and build with that journey. So mark your calendars.
Before you run away, they do break it up into qualifying rounds. So if you go back one real quick.
Yeah.
The way that you progress through their hackathon is they really want to define these journeys. You have to go into the qualifier round. And just to kind of like give you guys a little background information, when you register, just registering and coming up and presenting a viable idea, you may even have an idea that is focused on AI or is focused on another form of emerging technology, and it doesn't actually have blockchain integrated, but there's opportunity, there's possibility there for you to integrate it, and you're bringing them that idea and asking them, how can I further develop this project? That will get you through the qualifying round. So don't think that you have to come and propose an idea that is like perfect or like already like the best idea in the world. They want to be able to be a part of your narrative and helping you turn the ideas that you have into amazing products and amazing ships, right? So that qualifier round is going to be the easier one. As soon as you register, as long as you're bringing something to the table, you're going to be able to get into it. And let's say that you are not someone coming to the table with an idea already, but you want to join a team and you want to contribute to something amazing. That will get you through the qualifying round too. So team building in that aspect. And then once you have that concept, you can go into the national round. If you can get through the qualifying round by working closely with their engineers and just following the direction on how they want to see the actual project progress. They want you guys to bring things to them where they can contribute to the success itself. They want to see the evolution over this four months of time. So don't bring them anything. Let's say you already kind of have a winning idea. Don't bring them something that, you think you can submit, and then you can kind of just like lay back and chill for 4 months because you're just like that dope and you don't have to add anything. They're probably going to dock you for that because they actually want to be able to speak to seeing the evolution of it. So you have your qualifying round, which is like easy to get into. You have your national round, which just requires you being able to present and to show them like you have an idea that you want to build upon. They're just confirming you have something that you want to take to the end with them, right? And then after that, you have the regional round. So the regional round is around whoever has the best projects specific to the regions. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like The engineers are really dope within ICP, but if you push them, if you're consistent with them, if you really build a relationship with them and stay on them, like they will tell you what it's going to take to get your project to the finish line. They will shoot straight with you. They're not going to, you know, fluff and duff. They're not going to make it seem like, oh, you're going to be great. And then you feel blindsided. Like you can ask them those tough questions and they will tell you what you have to get done to make sure that you're continuing to move to the next round. And then the last round is actually the finals. So that is what we want to get you guys to, the finale. And they're going to make sure, especially with him partnering with us, that they can give you guys the resources, the time, the availability that it takes. As long as you continue to show up, they'll make sure that you really get there, that you'll place. So don't be intimidated by the fact that there's 4 rounds. There's a lot of support around anyone attached to our community to get through them.
All tea, guys. I'm just saying, ladies and gents. But let's talk about, while doing these rounds, what you'll be doing, especially from a beginner standpoint versus an experienced developer, designer standpoint. And so for a beginner, biggest tip, start simple. This is something that we faced even during our own hackathon while partnering with ICP and people who were trying to implement ICP's technology. We had to scale back a little bit and think, okay, how do we get this functional, period? So making the first version of what is like the basic app, web app, mobile app version that utilizes their technology, that stores data. And then by the final round, you might have something that's full marketplace availability. Maybe you integrate payments and user accounts. It's all about the growth. They want to see that you understood the technology, that you know how to implement, and that you know what to do in the next phase. And then for experienced devs, for experienced technologists, this is where you can really leverage ICP's unique capabilities. So maybe you are already familiar with blockchain in general, or ICP specifically, just integration without bridges, maybe implementing AI models, running on chain. Like this is the time to really get creative. Maybe you want to build a decentralized social network, like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can really get creative with it, and they love to see it. And so I highly recommend, if you do have the expertise and you have the idea, feel free to utilize their mentors, their engineers, to really think about scope, feasibility, scale, because they really want to see like, oh, you're thinking with your big brain. So that's a little bit about tips, whether you're a beginner or an experienced dev. And I don't want it to feel like because you're a beginner, you can't win. Like you're submitting like a beginner project, so to speak, that you can't necessarily win. And also, I don't want it to be centered around just winning in general, because the other overall goal besides maybe winning is learning. If you're familiar with CreateHERFest in general, like our mission is at its core to get more women into these emerging technologies, and that requires education. And so if you're in an environment where you have access to people who can teach you this emerging technology, because you're not going to get this kind of like hands-on from idea to design to development to production kind of experiment. You're not going to get that kind of experience in a lot of other places. And it's very hard to even find out about these kind of opportunities. And so we're trying to do the work of even telling you about it. And so while it's on us to tell you about it, give you opportunities to learn about it, it's also on you to take that step, be a little brave, and register, sign up, learn, build, because we all know inclusive tech can't be inclusive if we're missing a large portion of the population. So that's just my little spiel there. And in terms of just expected finale deliverables, like by October, you'll basically have like a full project, whether it's like something kind of like small, beginner. It's a project. A project is a project is a project. You know what I mean? The point is, it needs to be deployed. If you've deployed, you've built, and we love to see it. So your app is live, accessible to everyone. They'll work with you on like comprehensive documentation, go-to-market strategy, and also another thing that isn't talked about enough is what happens after the hackathon. A lot of times, you know, you build something and it probably is a really great idea and would be very beneficial to society in general, but funding is a really huge thing, especially for women founders. And what ICP is doing is offering that next step for people who do qualify. And so if you're someone who is not just thinking as a technologist, but also thinking as someone who wants to be a founder, a creator of something that benefits, that impacts people, this is an opportunity to not only get the support to build, but the support to scale. And that may not sound like a big deal to you now, but trust me, it is a big deal in general. So I will, stop that spiel there, and we'll kind of get into what are the different tracks that you can sort of build on. All right, so different tracks, let's see, we'll talk about, I think it's about 5 tracks, and this choice pretty much matters. You need to pick one, but you can switch. It does mean starting over a little bit, and depending on which tracks that you're switching from and to. So I would say think about it, read through it. ICP, World Computer, they have a lot of documentation on how to help you pick the right one, and we'll share those their giant Notion document. But be sure to pick the right one from the start that resonates with you. So each track, AI track, decentralized intelligence. So you can use ICP to build AI apps that are decentralized and transparent. So think AI models, if you're into smart agents, AI that runs without centralized servers. If you're interested in the intersection of AI and blockchain, this is your track. If you want to get your hands dirty a little bit with kind of both of those emerging technologies, we're here for it. They're there for it. There's a track for that. The next track being Bitcoin DeFi, so financial innovation, leveraging ICP's native Bitcoin integration to create decentralized finance application. If you're a finance girly, especially if you have like experience in that finance sector, and you've seen where decentralization could benefit that sector, this would be a really great way to build on that, like just building on that track. So this is huge because ICP can work with Bitcoin directly. So if you're familiar a little bit with the jargon of blockchain, basically just saying no wrap tokens, no bridges. If you're not familiar, that's okay. Plenty of documentation, plenty of information, plenty of help. So if you want to build the future of Bitcoin finance, this is the track for you. Next track, fully on-chain, so pure decentralization. Building applications entirely on the blockchain, not using any centralized servers or anything like that. So social platforms, DAOs, anything where you want complete decentralization and user control. And this is going to push the limits of what's possible with blockchain. The next track, RWA, real world assets. So tokenizing real assets like real estate, art, intellectual property. Like this is going to be a really cool scenario, especially if you're in the creator economy. If you're someone who's thinking about like, okay, what does it look like for me to have credit as a digital artist, as a musician, especially people of color, women of color, we don't often have the capability to prove like I created this. And if you're on social media, you've seen that a lot. How do you like tell people I created this dance, I created this beat, I created this graphic, that people are now memeing and using? How do I create that proof? You can build that proof out building on this track with RWA, real world assets. The last track, open track, unlimited innovation, free for all, for ideas that don't fit in any other category. So if you want to build something completely new, it's unheard of, maybe you've been dreaming, you've been thinking, you have ideas I couldn't possibly fathom, there's a track for you too, open track. So this is for experimental cutting edge solutions. Here's a little, like maybe some strategic considerations. You can switch tracks, but it does require starting over with your project. So choose based on your interests and your team's strength. So while, yes, you can register alone, but to build, you do need a team of at least 2. So think about what are your strengths, what are your teammates' strengths, and what you can build together based off of your shared interests, your shared goals, your shared passions. For beginners, open track or fully on train tend to be good starting points because they're the most flexible. And for more experienced blockchain girlies, consider where you want to build experience. So maybe you have some this general blockchain experience, but you really want to go into, DeFi. So maybe going for the Bitcoin DeFi track, or maybe you've been really into blockchain, but its intersection with how it could integrate with AI. And so you would go with the AI track. So that's a little bit about just what to consider when choosing the track for you. Take a little time to think about it. However, don't take too much time because registration has started. But you do, how would we find a teammate? We're gonna go over that, trust me. And literally right now we're gonna go over it. But yeah, basically just take a little time to think about it, but don't take too much time. Registrations do finally end July 25th. In our emails, you'll see that we said July 23rd, and that's me trying to trick you into doing it before it's too late. You know, sometimes you gotta tell people, like, you know how when you inviting somebody to a party, you gotta tell them it's at 7, but you know it's gonna be at another time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway, so just letting you know, register like today. All right, so how to get started. We're gonna go into that. I've been talking a lot. Let me pause a little bit. Let me drink my tea, child. Let me pause a little bit. We've talked about that. Your support network, everything. So we're going to talk about how to get started. We're going to go to their registration site, and they've been using Dora Hacks. If you're familiar with our hackathons, you're probably familiar with DevPost. Dora Hacks functions a little bit similarly, but with a little bit of blockchain here and there. But we'll go over exactly what that looks like. I will go to the link now and we'll address that question of how do I find a teammate and everything like that. So starting even from here, the WCHL 25 website, I'll start there because it talks about, you know, like we went over the timeline, when registration opens, when qualification rounds begin, everything like that, why you should participate, the rounds, the prizes associated with those rounds. You'll see that they're kind of like broken up as well, the dates associated, the value. They do have weekly workshops, which we do encourage you to attend, the judges and the mentors, the partners they're associated with, but also the workshop schedule. And so you'll see that some of their workshops have started, but once you register, you'll get access to their very expansive content library. So you'll get access to rewatch them, but also you'll get access to watch the rest of these. And so I do want to bring up, even with those who are less technical, but have a technical mindset, you know, maybe you don't already have like super like senior level, you know, technical development skills, but you know how to think like a developer, child. They're here for the vibe coding, okay? And they're going to teach you how to build apps with their technology with vibe coding. So you can use your Claude, you can use your ChatGPT, you can use your Perplexity, you can use your Gemini, you can use the tools at your disposal to help you build the ideal product for you. And they'll go over a bunch of other things, marketing, fintech, AI agents, all of it. And they also have their resources here. So a couple of the resources to look at: Dora Hacks, which we'll go over right now, their Discord community. And so if you're looking to communicate with other people who are building, but also the engineers, the founders, like literally everyone involved, this is a great place to do that. They share many of their resources, their announcements. This is a general community for this hackathon. Highly recommend that you join that. They also have their WCHL handbook. And if you click on that, which I already technically did earlier, it will take you to their Notion page, which has all the information we've discussed and will go over. Dates, important dates. If you have Notion, you can duplicate this, you can favorite this into your workspace.
I'm gonna catch you. Were you meaning on sharing that? Because we're still in the PowerPoint.
Oh my goodness. That's so awkward. I realized I was sharing.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
My window or my tab. 1 second, present something else.
And if you guys are looking for those links in the meantime, I dropped the link to our Discord in the chat, and you can find all the links we're referring to in our general channel and in our announcements channel. Just while she's bringing that up, I caught the context clues. Like, I'm pretty sure she's meaning on sharing this.
Yep. This is awkward.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. It happens.
Like I said, this is the website. Like I said, this is the website. All the information there. Here are the workshops. Like I said, building apps on ICP with vibe coding. That's happening July 10th. Highly recommend. registering, even if you're not totally sure you're going to build yet. Like if you're like 70% there, just register so at least you can attend, and then it can convince you to continue with this process. But also further down, their resources. So Dora Hacks, like we'll go over their Discord community, the WCHL handbook, like I said, which is the Notion with all of the information just right there in front of your face. And going back to the website, developer docs, if you want to get technical about like, okay, how do I build on this? How do I build with Motoko? How do I build with Rust? How do I build with Solidity? How do I build with TypeScript if you're a developer? More than likely, you know, depending on what language you want to go with, like it's pretty much fine with them. They have the capabilities to accommodate. But, you know, maybe challenge yourself since you have the 4 months, learn a new language, learn Motoko. I took some courses with ICP earlier this summer, and I'm not gonna lie, Motoko's kind of pretty cool. So highly recommend. It's
you
just
have a workshop with Attica, their community manager, on our YouTube as well for like beginners from Motoko. I think we have 2 workshops from Motoko.
So you definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check them out on our YouTube. They are uploaded, and also just on our website and our resource library as well. They also have a hackathon prep course. And so if you're like, okay, what are the basics that I need to know about ICP to be able to build on this for the hackathon, they have specific tutorials on what that looks like and how that is. All right, so moving on, we're going to go into Dora Hacks and just how to register. All right, so this is Dora Hacks. Think of it, like I said, sort of like a dev post with a little bit of blockchain, capabilities. I'm going to reject the cookies because I always reject the cookies now. Okay, so first, we're starting with the first one. You'll see biddles, and these are kind of, think of these as projects that people have submitted to the different tracks. They've tagged them with like things that are pertinent for their particular project. So people have already started submitting sort of like their initial concept, their initial projects of what they're sort of building, right? And you'll see here, some of them are in English, some of them are not in English, because like we said, this is a global event. And so not everyone is going to be speaking the Western language. And so, yeah, you can filter by tracks. Moving on to the next sort of tab here, hackers. Who's building on this track? A bunch of people right now. We have over 2,000 people building on this technology, building with ICP, which is really exciting. We hope that number increases with you all. But how do you join a team? So a couple of things. If you're just looking through the hackers, area, and you see someone, you're reading their bio or whatever, maybe you click on their profile and you're like, wow, I kind of really like what you said here. I would really love to partner on a team. That you can totally add them or follow them and then message them. But you can also go over to this join a team tab, and you'll see find your teammates and explore open roles and connect with teams in the hackathon. And you'll see here, let's say PayPeer posted, they have 3 open roles. And this is important because it's important to note that you don't have to be a developer to participate in this event. Good products need designers, they need product managers, they need technical writers, they need community leads, they need all of the things. A good product is never just development. And so don't think you can't participate in this if you're not someone who codes. You don't have to be someone who codes. So clicking on this, you'll see their open roles: technical writer, marketing, content creator. They're looking for a versatile team member to help them with documentation, technical writing, all of this. Presentation slides. You can just be the person who creates the presentation slides and talks during the demo and the demo video. That is already like a big pro for, especially like for developers who don't want to do that part. They want to choose like the building part. They don't want to sit up there and be like, this is my project and all this personality and X, Y, Z. Some people don't want to do that. And if you're someone who is bomb at that, you can participate in this and give value. It is incredibly valued to have that sort of skill. So if that's a role that you're interested in, you would simply message them. I'm not signed in, but I could message them and basically say, well, my login expired, but you can message them and say, hey, I'm super interested. These are my credentials, you know, XYZ, to really kind of sell it as like, no, I really want to be a part of this team. And so that's how you would join a team. Moving on, details. The details tab basically outlines a lot of what's in that Notion document that I showed earlier, but it's all right here. And so they've done a really good job about just putting the information in multiple places. It's also in Discord as well if you have questions again, but putting the information in multiple places in case you have those questions, you can always check back at any of these resources. So how to participate, how to join the Discord, what this event even is, the important dates, the hackathon tracks, prizes, and the submission requirements. Let's talk about the submission requirements because these are important on what you need to submit to even qualify. So submission requirements, project repo. If you're familiar with GitHub, then you know what this is. If you're not familiar with GitHub, get familiar with GitHub. We do have a recording that I believe should be uploaded now, but if not, it will be uploaded by the end of the day on how to best utilize GitHub. So you do need that. You do need obviously a summary, overview, and the demo screenshots, but also a demo video, max 10 minutes. We also have on our YouTube great resources on how to pitch yourself. We had some amazing women teach our builders how to pitch in a short amount of time for maximum effectiveness, and also how to create a pitch deck. So they have some starter templates here. I highly recommend checking out their templates and also those resources that I just mentioned on our YouTube. They also talk about their scoring priorities, but they will also discuss a little bit more of like what's weighted in terms of like the different, like the rubric of like how they will grade you essentially. All right. Info resources. We're going to speed through this because I know we're at 12:42 and I'm going to leave time for questions. But resources to get started. So the hackathon cheat sheet, developer docs, courses, tutorials, samples, like how to choose a programming language. Honestly, if you're more focused on you want to build something really good and maybe don't want to spend the time learning something new, go with the language that you know the most. If you do want to spend that time learning something new, then you can pick something new. But yeah, it depends on where you place that importance and what you feel comfortable doing in the time that you have and with the team that you have. So team and participant eligibility. So project must be original. They can't already exist in the ICP ecosystem. It can be a project that you've started building, but it can't be something that you've already submitted to the ICP system. So if you're someone who's been in their system for a long time, or even for a little while and you've already submitted something, that can't be the project that you submit, but it can be something that you've developed before. No solo developer submissions will be reviewed. They do want you to build on a team. Like I said, the best products require a team. You don't need a team of 5, of like all the way up to 5. If you find it's just you and another person, use the tools at your disposal to help fill in the gaps. That's why we have this emerging technology. If you find that you have 3 or 4, 5 can be too much in the kitchen, but 5 can be great. It really depends on who you find and what you feel comfortable with. All right, so they go into their judging criteria. I won't go into all of it. Just know that the information is there. Moving on, prizes. Their prizes are there, and so there are different prizes associated with different rounds. The overall goal for us and us telling you about this event is to get you through as many rounds as possible. So like the first hump, just getting through the qualification round. We're just trying to get you to qualify. Just sign up, register, have an idea, think about the feasibility of it, and write it down and start building on that. Like that's base step 1. And for base step 1, you can win up to $900 for your team. And then that kind of gives you a little bit of an edge or a little bit of a plump, a little, just a little something to move you on to like the next national round. It gives you that motivation, be like, oh man, we accomplished this, moving on. And even if you don't win, you still move on, if you qualify at least. Even if you don't necessarily win, it's still great that you learned. So that's more about their prizes, their funnels. They have, like we said, there are about 18, 19 different hubs. And so we're in the US, but if you're Brazil, Argentina, Canada, Philippines, China, wherever you are, there's likely a hub. And if you don't have a hub, that's okay. They'll put you in a group that's kind of like closest to where you are. You can still participate. Now, if you have questions, ICP specific questions, not CreateHERFest specific questions, ICP specific questions, this event specific questions, you can come in here and ask a question. And they are pretty good about responding. Like one of the organizers will respond, or any of their developer relations people will respond. You can also ask questions within their Discord as well. So if you have questions, like I said, this event specific, not CreateHERFest specific, don't come to CreateHERFest. You know, I mean, you can come to me. We'll answer it as best as we can. But you know, the best people that probably answer your question are probably going to be the people hosting the event.
You guys can feel free to join our Discord. The link is in the chat, and we can answer any questions specific to our own community to CreateHERFest itself. If you guys have questions that are specific to ICP, then you can actually ask it inside of this container, which is
they
like
are in our
doing all your work. However, we do have ICP engineers and leaders that are a member of our Discord as well. So if anything just so happens to slip in there, just expect us to just probably forward it or tag them and say, hey, you know, Shatan or Javier or, you know, Attica, can you guys help with this answer? And we will get you pointed in the right direction. But it probably won't be us. It won't be us.
Right. But we can point you in the right direction. We can tag them and we can ask them. We will champion your question and get that question answered as best as we can. So given that, that is essentially what you need to know to sign up. You'd come to this website or you come to their website. We'll give both links in a follow-up email, either both their website and the Dora Hacks. You would come, you'd register as a hacker, you'd sign up, give that information. And when you're ready to submit your project, you would submit your BIDL, essentially. And so, like I said, I'm not signed in, but there you go. All right, coming back to this. So that's your path. So like we said, build that dream team. You know where to find a team. If you want to hop into the CreateHERFest Discord and try to find your team, we're here for that too. You can also go into the ICP Discord and try to find your team there as well. There are multiple channels to help you find your team. We have resources. They have resources. At this point, there's like kind of nothing stopping you from registering, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, but like yourself. And why would you stop yourself from trying to win $300,000? That's wild. Anyway, but yeah, that's essentially what you'll be building. Here's your action plan. Register by July 23rd. Do not wait until the last minute. It'll make it much harder to find a team. So if you're already on the fence, let me know, let Adrienne know. We have, you know, Q&A in like 2 minutes. Let us know how we can help you get off that fence. Join their Discord, start learning their ICP basics. They do have a YouTube series called Zero to DAP, and it is very effective. And so if you want to start with that, you definitely can. And yeah, these are the essential resources. Like I said, the session is recorded, so you'll receive all the links and resources after this. And also stay connected with Creator Collective. So Creator Collective is the overall community, and CreateHERFest is our flagship programming. So join, like follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, stay up to date on other partnership opportunities like this. We will always try to plug you in. If you've kind of kept up with us on like Instagram or LinkedIn, that you saw that, you know, Adrienne and some of our other creators were at a lot of other events throughout the like world. And so keep an eye out for opportunities for you to participate and kind of tap in that way. We'll also get back into hosting more technical workshops, skill building sessions, networking events. We'll get into mentorship, but also CreateHERFest updates and announcements in general. So if you participated in our last hackathon, we're cooking up something new. You know, I won't say too much. I'm just saying we're cooking up something new, and I would, you know, hate for you to miss out on it. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be CreateHERFest. And so just stay in the know with us. Many of you found us via our email, so you're at least tapped in there. And yeah, that is all. I will stop talking now and open up the floor for questions at this time. So feel free to type it in the chat or like hop on, like just unmute your mic if you'd like. Oh, thanks.
I got her hype. Y'all see this? Y'all done got her hype now.
All right. Any questions?
You have questions, reservations. This is just an amazing opportunity. Like I said, one day soon, I'm hoping that, we could bring in enough partners, bring in enough collaboration where we could present you with over $250,000 in prizes. However, before that day comes, today is already here. And we can build a hookup for you within this relationship where we might be able to put you on a fast track to it. So,
okay. I'm curious. I am curious though, based off of like everything you've heard today and maybe your own research, give me a thumbs up if you are registering. Give me a thumbs down if you're like, I don't think I am. Okay, we got our hand raised. It's okay if you're not sure, if you think you are. Okay, we're getting a lot of thumbs up. Okay, hold on. Wait a second.
Thumbs down. Oh, wait, so thumbs down. Wait, Peggy, what's up? Talk to us. What's going on?
Oh, it's just like this is very interesting, and I might join in the future. I don't think I'm ready for such a commitment for now. I will definitely keep some tabs on for future Create Her events, and that includes some of the one-day hackathons that you might have planned. Thank you.
Of course.
No
I
problem.
hope that you're able to join us maybe later in the year, earlier in next year when we do our International Women's Day hackathon. So we're hoping that, even keeping our community active in events like this, we don't want you guys to ice down. Like, we want you guys to stay hot. We want you to stay ready. Like, don't get kind of like rusty, like keep at it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, we need spaces like Create Her, especially because of like the today's trends and stuff that mentioning it even makes you sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we'll definitely be planning for more just workshops in general, which are definitely a smaller commitment. They're usually up to like 90 minutes. And so 90 minutes to learn something new, build something, take it, go about your day, and then on to the next workshop. So yeah, hope to see you at any of those as well. Those will be, coming up in the next couple of months while we're planning for our big flagship programming once again. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Darlise and Adrienne, for hosting.
Of course. Thanks for joining, and thanks everyone else for joining. If there aren't questions, like, I'll leave space for anyone else to come up on the mic. Zaria,
go for it.
I have one quick question. I promise.
No, you're good. Go for it.
So if I have an idea, but it's mainly like AI focused, which track would you recommend signing up for, especially if it's like a finance app?
that's a good question. It depends on how heavily it leans. So would it lean more AI or would it lean more finance?
Are you on X? Are you on X, Zaria?
I am. I haven't been using it recently. I'm trying to get back into my groove. I just recently graduated Resilient Coders, so
congrats.
Still trying to, thank you, find that middle ground.
Yeah. So I asked about X just because Darlene's probably got an answer for you too. We're gonna do a Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, whatever you want to call it now, with ICP, and I feel like that's a great question to bring to them too. It's gonna be next week, so if you follow CreateHERFest on X, then you'll be able to join us. But yeah, and the link is also in the chat too. There's a bunch of links in the chat for you guys. But yes, so if you follow us next week, then you'll be able to ask them that question too, because I'm actually curious to what their answer is going to be. Other things about ICP, they actually have some infrastructure where they're actually building blockchain for AI. And this is a use case that I really feel like they'll be interested in, which is why, I want to affirm you that they want to get their hands on you and your idea, and they want to support you with that. So that's definitely something that they're gonna want to hear from you, and then kind of be like her. get her, don't lose her, you know? So yeah.
And yeah, like Tracy said, they have an option to change the track later. So if you're starting to build and you realize like, wait, this might actually lean more DeFi or this might lean more AI than anything, you can change the track and they'll kind of like help you through that of like, okay, it does actually make sense to change the track given the scope of what you're actually building. But yeah, highly recommend register for that X space. Feel free to, you know, we'll ask it on your behalf, or you can come on and ask it on your own behalf, because I am also curious about that answer. We'll have the leader of the North American ICP hub on, and so that's going to be really, really cool. So hopefully you all are able to attend. Hopefully that helps.
It did. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we drop? I love that we're like really on time. That's amazing. Okay, no questions. Well, if you do happen to have questions, if you are in our Discord, feel free to ask us there. If you're not, the link is in the chat. We'll also send it via email. We're doing some revamping, so if you see some things like turn around and stuff like that, don't freak out. You know, we're learning and we're building and we're iterating as we go. But you can ask us there. You can email us, either Darlise at CreateHERFest.com, Adrienne at CreateHERFest.com, info@CreateHERFest.com. DM us on any of the social media. We're very accessible. So let us know if anything else, but I will leave off with, I hope you all register. And if you don't register, I hope you stay at least tapped into the other projects and events that we'll be doing. Tap in somewhere. It doesn't have to be this. I implore you for it to be this. But if it's not this, there will be others. We'll host, we'll partner with people who host. There will be other opportunities to get more involved in this emerging technology. We're really passionate about it. And we want you all to be passionate about yourselves and your learning and your career growth and just your overall growth as well. So that is all.
Remember, guys, you have nothing to lose. If I can put that at the forefront of your mind, like you have absolutely nothing to lose and so much to gain. So that's why we're here.
Right? Everything to gain, period. All right. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This recording will be sent off to you as well. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Talk soon.